is Wendy at Chick-a-Woof Ranch, and it is that time of year. It is kidding season, and along with kidding season for us comes dehorning. So this is one of our least favorite things to do. We had a great experience of having someone show us in person how to do this properly. We're still not experts. This is our version. So you may have other ideas or different methods. This is just what works for us, and we want to share it with you in case you don't have someone on hand to be able to show you. So first off, I've got all my setup here, all the tools that we need. The first thing that we like to use is a pair of welding gloves. I also have a pair of thick leather gloves on as well, but a pair of welding gloves. We have a pair of little trimmers. These are for people, but what we're going to do with that, you'll see here right before we do the dehorning process. This is the iron that we have. I don't have the box here right in front of me, but I know it's a Reinhardt is the brand. This one does not have an interchangeable tip. We have Nubian goats, and so this works. This size works for us. Smaller goats, your Nigerian or miniature varieties, I know they make an iron with an interchangeable tip to accommodate that. Also, we have, this is tea tree oil, 100% pure tea tree oil. This one happens to be the Now brand, has the little dropper on the top that we'll be using afterwards. We also, this bottle's empty right now, but I brought it here to show you that this is kind of the reward afterwards, that we give them a bottle. And we do not have a fancy box. We haven't made one. We haven't ordered one. What we use for containment and holding system, our method is definitely a two-person method. We have to have two for the way we do it. What I use is, this is actually a bolster for doing kids' haircuts, that you set it up on the chair. So it's nice and padded and squishy. And this just happens to be the size it is. And then to protect this on top so that it doesn't get burned or any mishaps, this is just an old bath rug. It's a pretty thick one. I think it has more cotton than acrylic, so in case it would touch it right away, it wouldn't melt either. But so this is our setup. We'll get the iron plugged in, and we'll show you how the process gets started. Like I said, this is our least favorite thing to do, but we were glad to have somebody show us, so now we want to share it with you. Okay, this is our first little girl, doeling here, that we're going to do with her horns. She is just 8 days old today. She is a Nubian goat. In our experience, I found that if we go much longer than a week after they're born, you could end up with scurs later, which is a bit of the horn, the cells that you didn't get killed when you were using the iron. And so then later on they do have bits of horn that grow back, and sometimes it's okay and sometimes it's not. Sometimes it can curl around and try and grow back into their head, and then you have to mess with trimming that and dealing with that later. So the doelings are a little bit easier to do. It's definitely the bucklings that you want to get them in 7 days. It's hard because they're so little and cute and perfect, and you hate to do this and mess them up, but it's got to be done. So the first thing we're going to do is, you can kind of see the top of her head here. You cannot see any horns, they're not visible. You just feel the tip of their head, and right there on either side you can start to feel a bump. So we know she's going to develop horns. She is not going to be what's called naturally polled, which happens to be a genetic trait that you get sometimes, where they never develop horns. That's nice. Then you can avoid that whole mess altogether. But first thing we're going to do, because you can't see where you're going to be working, is we're going to pick up and we're going to use the trimmers here, and just go around, kind of make a circle on each side, just kind of trim and clear that fur away, so that it can make it much easier for the person that's using the iron, which happens to be my husband, so that he can see where he's going when he's applying the iron. So, okay, we'll give her haircut. Okay, so we're getting ready to give her a little haircut. These are not noisy at all. They're just, like I said, a pair of trimmers. Happen to be Oster brand, if it makes a difference. Corded is usually a lot better. Rechargeables don't last long. They don't have as much power. So anyway, here we go.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, Troy's going to be the one using the Dehorner, the iron, so he's the one that has to approve to see if he has enough area to work with here. Okay, so we're trying to get a zoomed in picture as best we can of the top of her head for you to take a look. It's hard because she's black. Well, I'm trying to give her my finger here to hold her still. Here, I'm going to grab a bottle real quick. It's empty, but it'll do the job for the moment. Okay, so if you can see, there's just enough to kind of see where the buds are. The burned ring, later you'll see that the area is much bigger, but we just need to see where the nub is. So this is what it looks like when before we get started. Okay, so she's prepped with her haircut. Now I'm going to show you how I get her into position before we actually start the process. We have the pair of welding gloves. How it works for me is my husband is right-handed, so he's going to be using the iron in his right hand. So he wants the welding glove on his left, so that way the left hand is the one that's more likely to burn. So I get the right-handed one. So this is how I get her down into position. We're going to put her up and her chin is going to rest here. And I'm going to sit on her, not putting all my weight, but I'm going to tuck her between my legs, containing her so that I hold her very still, because that's important. So when I get her up here, she'll probably squeal. So we get her right up. I tuck her down under my legs, put my legs right up next to the bolster, and then bend her front legs down. This takes a little bit. It's not something they like. There. Get her into position just like this. So at this stage, it's easier when they're this young. She's squatted down. Her chin's going to be pressing here. This is nice and squishy. It's not going to choke her. With the Nubians, they have long ears. We want to keep them out of the way to keep them from getting singed. So my job here will be to use I have the welding glove on my right hand to hold her ears back and to hold her head right here on the top. And then we'll come in with the iron and do one side and do the other. So this is how we get them into position.
All right, a couple things before we get started. Usually how you know when your iron is hot, just a little test, is when you get something like that. It's pretty hot. Some of them get red hot. If we were in the barn or somewhere in a closed area, we could probably tell if it was red hot, but I don't think it is. But in between goats, and not necessarily between the horns, but in between goats, I'll take the wire brush and clean off the burned hair and horn that's on the iron so that doesn't build up. And Wendy?
And ladies, if you have long hair like I do, I've got a clip here that I'll be using to pull my hair out of the way, because you don't want anything to hinder the process while you're holding them down, a piece of hair either to get into the iron or get in the way. So I'll be clipping my hair back to make everything go smoothly. Okay, so we're ready to get started here. Since this is a two-person job, kind of want to talk about the teamwork that we do between the two of us. Like I said, I'm wearing the right-handed glove and Troy's wearing the left-handed because he'll be holding the iron in his right hand and he wants to keep the left hand protected from getting burned. So it's my job first to get her down in position and get her ears back. And once we're in position then and we're ready to start, I am the counter. And we use the 1/1000 method. We're going to go 10 seconds, but it's my job to count out loudly during the process. The iron will make contact with her head for 10 full seconds. And in the end, you might see Troy kind of ring it around a bit, to kind of make sure we get that full circle all the way burned all the way around the nub, so that we kill all those cells that would potentially grow into a horn. So we're ready to get started. Okay. Here we are, just trying to show everything step by step so that there's not so many questions. She's pretty relaxed, going to get her into position, and then Troy's going to start. Which side are you going to go for?
I'll do my right first.
Okay, so that kind of lets me know which way to turn her head and to keep the ears pinned back. So I'll get her into position here. Okay. And they usually she's been pretty relaxed, but they usually kind of struggle here a bit until they give up. So I'm going to grab her ears and tilt her head so that the horn he wants to start on is exposed. There will be some screaming. It does not feel good, but we have a reward for them in the end. Okay.
Ready?
Ready?
Oh, one thing I do, make sure that I put my thumb over their fingers over her eye in case I slip, that I don't burn their eye.
Ready?
Yep.
Okay, go. 1 1000, 2 1000, 3 1000, 4 1000, 5 1000, 6 1000, 7 1000, 8 1000, 9 1000, 10 1000. Okay, we'll give you a close-up shot here of what this looks like in just a second.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, baby. Watch the iron. So I'll kind of tilt her head a little bit here. Can you see? And you'll get sometimes kind of a copper ring, kind of whitish down there. I don't know how well you can see that on this. We'll show you at the very end of the process what the result looks like. So there's one.
We're going to talk about knocking off the cap.
You want to knock off the cap?
Yep.
Okay. This is something that not everybody does, but now that we've put this ring on here, you've kind of got that centerpiece. So it would fall off later, and still part of it will scab up and fall off. But we like to kind of knock this tip off. So depending on how it works out, Troy might take the iron and actually lay the side of it sometimes on the top here. But the iron, he'll kind of flick with it either way and get this little cap that you see pulled off. Okay, let me get my glove back on. I know. So sorry, but it never has to be done again. Okay. So we're not pressing hard to really redo the ring. We're just getting that cap off the top. There we go. Okay. And there's what that little cap on the top looked like. Oh. Here. No, she says no. So here's what it looks like now. Get my glove out of the way, causing kind of a shadow. There's what she looks like. So we're gonna go ahead and start on the second side because she's already, she's in a relaxed state. She is stressed out, but she's holding still. So we're gonna go ahead and get this one over with and finish it up. Some kids, you need to take a break in between. We did have one with a friend where her breathing was a little quick, and she really seemed kind of traumatized and stressed by the situation. So we gave her a break in between and came back, and she did much better on the second side. This little girl's doing just fine. So let's finish it up. I'll get my gloves back on. Okay, tilt her this way, got her ears pinned back, and like I said, she's not being choked. This is nice and cushy, just kind of pressing to the side.
Okay, and I'll get the cap at the end.
And Troy will go ahead and do the cap at the end.
Ready?
Yep. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000, 5, 1,000, 6, 1,000, 7, 1,000, 8, 1,000, 9, 1,000, 10, 1,000. Okay, now we're getting the cap, and that's why I wear the gloves, because the iron just hit my glove. But once again, protecting her eye so that we don't singe any hair. Almost. Sometimes, yeah, just last little flick here. Go back this way. Towards me. There we go. Okay. All done. Now we're gonna get her, get a bottle ready for her. Okay, so she's getting her reward now, her bottle, kind of make everything better. And she's still not totally interested. We're gonna try and keep her occupied with the bottle. Here goes the tea tree oil. Get several drops on either side. You do want to keep it out of your eyes and hers. But the tea tree oil really helps afterwards. It's good for burns even on people. So that's it. She is done. And we'll give her her bottle, and I'll take one last shot and show you what the end result looks like.
Okay, I'm recording.
Okay, this is kid number 2. We have a few more to go after this. We hope this has helped you a lot. It certainly helped us with somebody getting us started. And if you don't have another farm that you can visit, we wanted to do it step by step to show you this is what we do. If you have other suggestions or if you have questions, please make comments and we will answer best we can. I'm sure there's many other ways to accomplish this, but this is how we do it with what we have. So hope you enjoyed, and please like our channel and subscribe. Thank you.